Beloved Achin, my fellow parishioners and my dear children. Today, as you all know, is the second Sunday of the Great Lent, and today is called the Garbo Sunday. Garbo is a Syriac word which means leper. So it's also called as the Leprosy Sunday. As you already heard, the Gospel reading for today was taken from St. Luke chapter 5 verses 12 to 16. And this particular passage you can find in two more books in the Bible. So totally 3 books in the Bible have the same verses. The others are found in St. Matthew chapter 8 verses 1 to 4 and also in St. Mark chapter 1 verses 40 to 45. The main theme or verse we can get from that is Jesus touched and healed. So that is what we can mainly grasp from it. Coming down to today's Gospel reading, we see that when Jesus was traveling through Galilee, a leper, you know what is leper? A person with leprosy. Leprosy is a very dreaded disease. You can see a lot of, for the older flock, I know you guys have all seen people with leprosy, but for the younger children, leprosy is a very bad disease. It's very unclean. You can feel sores from the body and there is blood and pus oozing and their hands are all deformed. So nobody would like to live in a place, or even the lepers are sent away. They're isolated from society. They do not have the chance like you and me to come to the church and worship together because they're isolated from society. So this leper was supposed to be not in a place where everybody else was. But he had the faith. With his faith, what did he do? He went and touched Jesus. And he went to Jesus and asked him, Jesus, can you touch me and heal me? So Jesus immediately, what did he do? Jesus touched him and he said, be healed. Okay? So what happened was, this person was touched by Jesus and he was healed. Jesus told him one more thing. You are not supposed to go tell anybody, but go to the chief priest. In those days, the Jewish chief priests were the ones who would officially declare a person is of sin or not, of the sickness or not the sin, the sickness or not. So they used to give, nowadays when we get sick and we go to the doctor, unless we have a clearance certificate, we cannot go back to work. So the same way, this leper had to go to the chief priest. He went to the chief priest and he got the approval. So in the meantime, many people heard about this leper being cured and started going to Jesus, and so Jesus started healing more people. But when you come down to the concept of Jesus, you know this disease could be spread. So Jesus could tell him, I don't want to do it. But Jesus, when there was no one to help also, Jesus was concerned for other people. He never even bothered what other people would think. But he was very concerned for this. Jesus did not discriminate anyone infected with any disease. Jesus did not look at the outer appearance. He touched the leper and decided to heal her. Same way, one of our saints in the Orthodox Church, Parimala Tirumeni, I know many of you know all this before, looked after his teacher infected by smallpox. He knew that he would contract this disease at some time or the other, but still he looked after his teacher who had smallpox. The priest, when he goes to the priest has to testify that he is cured of his illness or not. This testifies the miracle power of God. After hearing this news, many more people would come to Jesus with that. So the leper went to Jesus not with any offerings. He went empty-handed. He had nothing to offer to God. Nor did he have any ability to change also. But he had the power. He was isolated from society, lived in shame with sickness. When you have sickness, you are living in shame. His faith that Jesus would help him get rid of the disease did change forever. Okay, why did I say all this? What is the relevance of the story today for us? We do not see leprosy among people we live in, especially here in this country. Why should we read this verse during Sundays every year? What is a miracle? Why miracles are important to us? There are certain things in our life that medical professionals and scientists cannot explain. Let me share with you a story from one of my great inspirers. In 1950, there was an Achin by the name of Thomas Achin who lived in Delhi. There was a very important international conference going on there. There were delegates from the World Council of Churches, known as the WCC. This Achin was conducting the conference there. So suddenly what happened to him was, one side of his face, there was weakness. He felt ill and weak. Then there was the eyelids, it was drooping. Eyelids were drooping and he had double vision. The Achin thought what to do. He went to the doctor. There was a doctor from Christian Medical College, Vellore. I know most of you know the place, CMC Vellore. And this doctor told Achin you had to come for tests. So our Thomas Achin went to this doctor. And you know what, the doctor examined him and he said, do you know what you have? You have brain tumor. Okay, so Achin was like anybody, hear this news. What happened? We were all scared, so Achin was scared too. So he asked him, what are the risks with this particular disease? So the doctor told Achin there is 3 things. First one is, anyway you have to come back to Vellore, and at Vellore we can do a surgery. For the surgery, there are 3 different things could happen. The first thing is, during the surgery you could die on the operating table. Second one, you could be disabled for life. And the third one is, the third one is, you have only 6 months to live. So Thomas Achin was upset, but finally decided that he will go back to Vellore and go and do the surgery because life has to continue. This is not a story now, this is a story in 1950. Okay. In the meantime, at the conference, this is an international conference, at the conference there was an American couple who attended this. They offered Thomas Achin a scholarship to come to America. So now Achin is more confused. I have a scholarship to come to America. At the same time, I have to go to Vellore and do the surgery. So Achin decided to go to his hometown in Kerala and tell his parents. He told his parents, Dad and Mom, see this is the condition, I have to go to Vellore, I have to have a surgery, otherwise I will not leave anymore. So parents will tell him, son, do as you want, that's what parents will do. So only one more condition, Thomas Achin adds to it. He tells his parents, suppose anything happens to me at Vellore, do not bring my body back to Kerala. Bury me in Vellore itself. So saying this, he goes. Next day he takes a train to Vellore, reaches Vellore, and goes to the church there. He meets with the Achin and tells him, Achin, can you find a place for my burial? Because I think I might not leave. So Achin already asked the other Achin for a burial place and everything. And goes back to his room and gets admitted in the hospital because Vellore Hospital has outside rooms to it also. So he gets admitted, and then what happens is, suddenly he feels different. There is no numbness on his face. His eyelids are not drooping anymore. There is no double vision. So something is wrong, he knew. Anyway, I've come here, I have to take admission. He calls a doctor and takes an appointment and goes in for the appointment. When he's at an appointment, as you know here also when you go to doctor's office, first the nurse comes and finds out everything. So the nurse asks him, Achin, do you have numbness on your face? He says, no. Do you have drooping eyelids? No. Do you have double vision? No. So everything answers no. So she gets confused. Here we have a person with brain tumor come to check up and he's saying no, no, no for everything. So before that itself, Achin was thinking, you know, when people are ready to die, the olden saying is that everything becomes all right before you die. You get everything. So Achin thought, oh, my end is near. I'm going to die. This is the final thing. But the he examines, he couldn't find anything wrong with the Sachin. He said everything is all right. So next 2 months, they continue to do the tests. They do all the tests. And finally, they declare him he is disease free. So the Achan, the doctor who had examined him, before that I want to tell you something. Before he goes to Vellore, there is one important thing I forgot to tell you. So Tirumeni goes to his parents and also goes to the Baba Tirumeni at the time. He goes to the Baba Tirumeni and tells him, Tirumeni, this is the condition. I'm having brain tumor. I don't think I'll be able to continue my services in Delhi. You will have to find a new Achan for my services at Delhi. So you know what our Baba Tirumeni at that time told in 1950? Go into the chapel and tell your situation to God. If God wants your service here, you will not die. And if He wants you to be with Him, you will go away from us. So this was the answer Baba Tirumeni gives. So Thomas Achan went into the chapel, prayed to God and told Him the same thing. If you want my service here, please give me a life. And if you don't want, I'll come with you upstairs. Okay? Up to heaven, I mean, not upstairs. So the medical doctor who examined him and told you now he comes, there's no numbness, he thinks he's going to die. The doctor who examined him, did the test, no cure for him, thinks there's nothing wrong. The doctor who had examined Achan at Delhi comes to him finally. There are some things which medical profession cannot understand. This is one of them. I saw the brain tumor in Delhi and I don't see it now. Thomas Achan contacted he is disease free, contacted the American couple who was offering him a scholarship and came to America. Till his death in 2008, that is 58 years later, he believed, this Thomas Achan believed, that prayer was the reason for this tumor to go away. Thomas Achan is no stranger to St. Stephen's Community, our church. This is our own Macarius Tirumeni. Tomorrow, February 23rd, is the 7th anniversary of our Tirumeni's Orma. Coming last week, we visited Titi in the hospital. So we were talking with Titi and he was telling us that how he lived in Kerala and how in the younger days he always ate natural, organic, home-grown hens, eggs and meat, and the rice from the nearby paddy fields, vegetables from the backyard garden. Everything was grown at home. Why should I get this kind of disease? As you all know, Titi never drinks nor smokes. There is no reason for sickness to come to a person like Titi. God chose him to bear the disease. As a church community, it's our responsibility to share the pain the family is going through. 2 weeks back, we had heard the situation was very bad for Titi. Based on Achan's instructions, the whole church fasted and prayed for a week, and a miracle happened. He is back at home now and improving. Prayer can make miracles happen. Our church witnessed a real miracle in the Lenten season. That's why we should read, meditate, and pray for others based on the Word of God. There are many people who are suffering in many places around the world due to sickness and other situations. We have to think about them and pray for them. We are living in America, a superpower in the world affairs. We can afford maximum care with modern technology to our patients. With super specialty doctors, we would expect no health problems for people in America. But still, people get sick, die at different ages in America. So we really need God's power and miracles to heal us. We should be humble and live according to God's commandments. Remember the verse, be still and know that I am God. Psalms chapter 46, verse 10. So let's keep our life in constant prayer. Thank you all for listening. God bless you all.